shock them to bumbo class. Rock 'em off in style, you know.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Unrestrained podcast here at the Institute of Latino Conservative Studies, School of Hard Knocks. We got Ernest here. Say hi to the people.
Hey, what's going on? I'm back. I'm ready to talk about all this stuff we got going on. It seems like a lot has happened within these last 2 weeks that I've been gone, so I'm excited to get into it, man.
All right, Alfred, say hi to the people. Alfred.
What's up, everyone? Ready to go, man? Oh, man, I can't wait, man. There's just so much to talk about, man. There's so much. The news cycle, bro, we're on a new cycle, brother. We're in another cycle.
Yeah, so it's crazy because obviously now it's like Trump, there was never an assassination attempt, right? Like we're what,
3 weeks.
3 weeks now?
Yep, 3 weeks.
From that, and yeah, it's like it never happened. Really, after the first week, they kind of just moved on, right?
Well, and that was the point. The whole point was to hurry up. Let's use all the legacy media in tune and let's get this out quickly. You don't want nobody to investigate, just Secret Service getting fired. But at the end of the day, man, an attempt to a president, they just want to erase it really quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, nobody's been fired.
But no, nobody's been fired. Yeah, she resigned.
Yeah, well,
Correct.
Yeah, she resigned, and we'll talk a lot about it toward the end of the podcast. We got this clip with PBD. He had that Nick Irving. Nick Irving. Yeah, he's a sniper. I think he has like 33 confirmed kills. He had an interview with him that was really good. So we'll get into that. Yeah. But we're gonna we probably overdid it on the clips today, but it's all right. We'll try to get through it. So Kamala Harris, obviously we're still on that, guys. It's crazy again because the Democratic Party is installing their candidate. The media has basically is in full force in backing Kamala Harris, erasing all her past, erasing all her previous positions, propping her up, right?
That's correct.
So it's crazy because it's disappointing that, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say that because we don't really know how much people are falling for this. But for me, it is annoying to see people like that guy from Breakfast Club. What's he call himself?
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne. That guy's such an idiot.
I don't use his last name, man. I don't. It's so annoying. Yeah. I'm like, bro.
Charlemagne, the guy.
Yeah, dude. I don't like. Come on, guy. Who?
Oh man.
Yeah, and when you see people like that are, I refuse to believe that he's that stupid. He's had like Candace Owens on his show. Mm-hmm. He's had what's his name? The black conservative
Tim Scott?
Larry Alder.
Oh yeah.
He had Larry Alder on his show.
He had Vivek on there.
Yeah, he's had Vivek on his show. So he's had some people on the show that have actually gone on his show and actually really educated him on some of his positions. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think he's really that dumb. My theory with that guy is that he benefits financially from being this stupid.
I know. You know what? I
don't think he believes it. I don't think he believes his own deal.
So I think he's kind of a race hustler because he's a race hustler. When he's been asked about like who he's voting for, he's like, well, I don't know yet. But I also feel like if he does act, because he was talking about like his taxes and all this stuff like on one of the episodes. And immediately I'm like, dude, if you're talking about taxes, like I know who you're going to vote for because you already had done your studies. But the thing is that if he comes out and says it live on air to his base, they're going to roast him, dude.
Yeah, I saw this interview with him where he talked about, he's full Kamala Harris now, and that before he could not say he wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden. He would not say it, but he wasn't going to do it. So to me, he confessed that he's a fraud.
Yeah.
Because if you were somebody if you were a genuine person that was really about truth, then at that time you would have you would have said,
you
no, I am
honest.
not. I'd be, yeah, you would have been honest, and you would have said, I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But he never said that. But yeah, I want to, this video's been going viral, but I kind of wanted to just play the beginning just to refresh people. This is Trump when he went to the National Association of Black Journalists. What was this woman's name again? She was with ABC.
Rachel Scott?
Is it Rachel Scott?
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel Scott?
Was it Rachel Scott? I guess she ended up
yes.
She ended up resigning after this interview. Yeah, her name is Rachel Scott. I guess she was ABC News senior congressional correspondent. She moderated this, and really out of the three journalists, she just looked like a fool. And if you watch this whole thing, man, yep. Initially I hadn't watched. To be honest, I was just listening to commentary on this, and I was actually frustrated for Trump for going here on this show, but I hadn't watched the whole thing. I was being lazy, and I was just kind of going off what other people were saying. And some of the criticism he received was getting into identity politics. Why does he need to bring up the whole Kamala Harris not being black?
Well, if you think about it, though, that's all one side plays is identity politics. So, the fact that he called it out, to me was like, well, he showed up under false pretenses. And then, she tries to treat him like, the way she did. And it's like, he's calling out the BS on stage, like right then and there. And she's like, oh, well, let's move on from that.
Yeah. What the problem that she had is that the other two journalists that were part of the panel actually were professional and respectful.
Yeah.
And even though initially I was kind of like, Trump, do you really got to start? Like, sometimes I do get frustrated because I think he shoots himself in the foot when he starts criticizing people when it's not necessary. But in this case, I have to admit I was wrong. I think it actually worked out because she ended up looking like a fool. Mm-hmm. And obviously the fact that she ended up resigning afterwards, typically that means she didn't want to, she was probably going to be fired. Mm-hmm. But let's play the clip, guys, because I don't know if some of you people have really thought about this, but let's press play and then we'll comment on I just want to focus on the beginning, how this whole thing started off.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
5 words.
So that's fine. Go ahead.
Years before your brain starts shutting down.
Yeah, go ahead and skip. Sorry, guys. But hold on. Go ahead and pause it.
First of all, I don't think I've ever been.
So, this is the thing that I wanted to mention is. So let's think about this, guys. There was an attempted murder on him 3 weeks ago, right? So, if you're a journalist, I'm not a journalist, but if you would think that if you had a chance, this is your first interview with him after that event, wouldn't you think that your questions, your initial questions, would be more along the lines of related to that event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's still fresh, technically.
It's 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's not. It hasn't been that long. But just even the way she greets him, like she comes out hot out the gate. She doesn't even say, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Mr. Trump, blah blah," and goes on from there.
Yeah, and then they never do that. Totally disrespectful. And but I get, guys. This is the thing that I really want to drive home is that to me, this is what makes it so obvious that the media is just hateful and evil. They're absolutely biased, okay? Because again, just imagine if this was Trump, or I mean not Trump, but Biden or Obama or anybody that's not Trump that had 3 weeks before you interview them. Do you really believe that they would have? First of all, they wouldn't have received the questions like that. But wouldn't you think that the first questions after you said, hey, thank you for coming, appreciate your time, you making the time to come see us, but before we get started, we haven't been able to interview you, and I just really been thinking about, it was 3 weeks ago. How are three weeks from now?
How are you feeling? What's been going on through your head?
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks now. So what's in your mind? Are you afraid?
Yeah.
Have you changed anything?
Has it Secret Service? Did you change up your?
I don't know. What has this changed you? Did it change you in any way psychologically? Is your worldview different? I mean, I would think that you would have questions like that because I'm curious. I would want to know, hey, you the last couple weeks you look like you're just moved on yourself, right? It looks like you're just out there, you're pushing forward, but I'm curious, in at home when everything is said and done, Are you afraid?
What are you thinking about at night? Like when you go to sleep, are you afraid that somebody's going to be outside your house? I'd be like, dude, if somebody, I'd get ready just because.
Is there any PTSD out of this? Right? Are you
exactly something? But no, it's just. But see, that's what I was thinking though too. Is that I thought about it on the opposite end. I'm like, if this was Biden, they would still be continuing to talk about it till
every
today.
Question would be related.
Yeah.
To that.
So, but they would because they're trying to draw him up like a hero. So I'm like, okay, well, why is it that they're doing it one way but not the other? Like, how about we run this through the middle and try to treat both parties fair? And they don't.
Yeah, and not to mention that these statements that people talk, when she's just like, calling a journalist a rabbit. What she say, like a rabbit dog,
a rabbit, an animal. These are the prosecutors.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that what is the fact that they were black? I mean, he didn't say those things because they're black. They happen to be black.
Yeah.
But is it not okay to say, hey, that person is an idiot? Let's just say that guy's an idiot. And I just because I think he's an idiot, but he happens to be black. Does that make me racist?
Well, and see, but then that puts this whole identity politics a blast. You see what I mean? Like, I really like that we are into this identity politics, propaganda. Because this is one side this is what they're focused on, right? Remember, in the beginning, it was all because we're gonna have the number one black woman in America. We didn't just have enough with the first black president, right? With Obama. Now let's go full on, even though nobody likes her, even though her track record is through it's tore up, it's horrible. And now here we are, we're seeing the full mechanism, the full force of propaganda from the legacy media trying to shove it down people's throats and saying this is what we got. This is now, this is all with the plan.
They forced her on the Democratic Party, which was insane to me because, like, if I were a Democrat, right, like, I mean, or if I was even leaning slight left or however, I would be kind of upset to look at, the party to say, well, I didn't vote for her. I didn't want her. I mean,
there's 12 million people that have been ousted out. These are the 12 million people of Democrats that said, we were going to vote for Joe Biden. All of a sudden, in the back end, and again, I can't confirm or deny, right? But there's conversations that were said in the back that just said, you know what? Either 25th Amendment or whatever, but
see, they just took your right away to completely try to push your candidate through. So they didn't, they could have had a quick like, hey, let's name these people of who we think, and then have people vote on that. But they didn't do any of that. They just said, hey, here's Kamala, take it and accept it. And I'm like, that's not to me that's not
that
okay.
is democracy. This is their democracy.
That's their democracy.
And this is why it's so important to see that this is how hypocrite this side is, man. That they want to they want to chug 12 million voters, brothers. They just want to say nope. We know what's best for you.
Yeah,
here you are now. Accept the outcome of having the worst prosecutor in San Francisco, the worst senator in California because she is, and now let's put her in the pedestal and let's have all these barking dogs, the legacy media, just prop her up to enough where the the uneducated voters can say, oh yeah, it's going good for her. I should vote for her because this is what they see. And now that's why we come back and say, people wake up. People wake up.
Hit play on this, Alfred. Let's finish this clip.
Let's do it.
Ask the question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
Goodbye.
It's a terrible network.
I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I say
he's so bad at being a racist.
Long-term financing.
Like he's just not good at it. I mean, what racist would fully fund historically black colleges?
Exactly
that makes no sense.
Do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was
Mr.
wrong.
President, I would love
think
you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the
nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Dude, he cracks me up sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's so true. He can't lie, bro. He can't lie.
Yeah.
We cannot deny that this man invested so much money into black universities. You know what I mean? He helped out so many people, especially in the black community. But these people want to chug it away and just call him racist.
Yeah, escape out of this and get the other tab ready. But yeah, so it's just ridiculous that even Charlemagne, he'll never give him credit for funding the historical black colleges and opportunity zones.
Yeah,
and the what was it, the First Step Act, which I don't think he mentioned on this, on his comment there. But I'm not a fan of this whole helping black people, like passing policies that are specific for black people. I just think it's ridiculous. But I get it. He's got to play the game. The one of the things that's super annoying to me is that they've convinced people that black people, or whether it's black people or Latinos, like you don't relate to our struggle. Like you don't relate to our plight, or you don't, we're looking for they're looking for somebody that's going to pass policies that benefit them. Right. Mm-hmm. But what does a black person need that we don't all need?
Yeah.
Like what is it that what barriers are put in place that are not put in place for the rest of us? Mm-hmm. In other words, when they complain about, the struggle for them to get business, the struggle for them to get jobs. I mean, do they not know that we all struggle to get jobs? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, do they not know that we all have a struggle? It's called life.
Yeah.
It's called life. Like, I've never been heard. Every time you hear black people talk about the struggle, and then they start getting into the details about, I don't know, let's say, money for school, getting into a good college, getting a good job. I mean, that's a struggle for everybody.
For everybody,
100%.
It's just for some reason they've been convinced that it's only a struggle for them.
Yeah.
If I, as a father, what need do I need? In other words, what do I want as a Latino male that's different than the white male, than the black male, than the Asian male, than fill in the blank male. Mm-hmm. We all have the same needs. We all want to live in peace. We all want opportunity.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have a job. We want to be able to our kids to be educated, own a home. Yep. Be safe, not be able to walk down the street without being murdered.
Yeah.
All that sort of things. I mean, what is it? What's it? Well, I want to put in the comments. I need to understand what is any different. Anything that if you're a black person and tell me, well, this is what we need. I can guarantee you right now, it's the same thing that I need.
Yeah, I mean, you
100%.
see a lot of like Latinos, the ones that are, on the street corners and whatnot, and they're selling like, churros, or they'll be selling like
raspados,
chips, raspados, corn, whatever, oranges. So they tried. I'm sure that's a struggle because they're not making enough money on a daily to basically buy a home or something.
Right.
It's very minimal and limited amounts of resources. So again, there is a struggle for everybody. It's not just one particular group, but I, like you said earlier, I think that at this point in time in 2024, it's to the point where now you're basically just playing them, and you've instilled in them that they can't do for themselves. And that's where I find it to be ridiculous, because I personally think that everybody can do for themselves. You just have to give them the opportunity. So, again, like you said, it's what does somebody else need that I don't need?
Yeah, in other words, there isn't a specific policy that it needs to be unique to black people, So anyhow, it's just crazy, guys. If you notice, the journalist doesn't say, "Oh, that's not true. You didn't pass opportunity zone. That's a lie."
You know what I find crazy though about that is I find it crazy that for us even saying something like that, right? Because on the black end of it, people could look at us and be like, well, you guys are Latinos, you guys aren't black, so you don't know the struggle. But it's like,
but
then at the end of the day, they can hear a statement like that and then point the finger at you and be like, well, you're a racist. And it's like, no, we're not the same, and we go through different struggles, but we all struggle. It's just how we get to be on top. It's our choices.
We have a different worldview because most of us haven't been conditioned to think that anything that happens to us is because of the color of our skin, right?
100%.
A lot of black people have been conditioned to think, oh, you got pulled over? Oh, it's because you're black.
Yeah.
Not because you ran the red light, not because maybe you look like a hoodlum, Like I think about when my friend, I had this one. Go ahead. You want?
Oh, I was gonna say, just to add, a couple of days ago, just for us last week, I think the LA was under fire for punching a black man in the face. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And right away we jump into the assumption like this guy, police brutality. But yet again, you don't get to see what happened. Mm-hmm. This guy literally was spending about 25, 35 minutes trying to say, dude, just turn around, put your hands behind your back, bro.
Yeah.
Like for 25 minutes, like, what am I doing? Dude, just comply.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how hard is it just to comply instead of getting socked in the face? Well, and now, like you said, as soon as somebody catches, police brutality, the guy spent 25 minutes trying to, get away from the police.
You know what's a perfect example? Like how black people think that the talk is like, oh, the talk, only black people have to have the talk. What do you mean?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The talk about hey, you know what? If you get pulled over, be respectful.
Yeah.
Let me give you guys. Let me just ruin something for black people listening. Mm-hmm. All ethnicities have the talk. My kids white people, they tell their kids, get their driver's license and say, hey, your driver, if you get pulled over, be respectful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Don't be causing a fuss. You're going to make it worse for yourself. You know what? Comply.
I never had that talk. From my recollection, I've never had that talk. But I also know.
You don't have kids yet, right?
No, I do have kids.
How old are your kids?
They're young.
Okay, they're not 16 or 15 yet. No, so of course you haven't had the talk.
No. I'm saying when I was growing up.
Oh, you're growing up?
Yeah, I didn't. But see, I automatically already knew though. It's like you got to put both hands because they got a visual. Yeah, it was all common sense.
Yeah, I guess maybe some of us don't even need to have it because it's freaking common sense.
Like I just went with it, and they would ask me questions. And
I remember my mom. It wasn't like sitting down. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, son, just be careful if you get pulled over. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Okay, that's the talk.
Even though some of us grew up in the hood and everybody
sorry you're disappointed, black people. You probably think, I thought we were the only ones that got to have the talk.
No. Everybody gets to. Everybody goes through the talk. I mean, even though when we're in the hood, sometimes some of us will be like, watch out for the popo, right? Mm-hmm. If you're doing bad things, smoking weed and selling weed, of course you got to watch out for the popo, right? Mm-hmm. So when you get pulled over and you got about 3 to 4 pounds on you, of course you're gonna try either run.
Bro, if you fit a profile, right? If you have a okay. So I want to tell this story real quick because we got a lot of clips.
Sure, go for it.
But I'm the one. I don't have to tell the story, but it is a perfect example. Some of my friend had this Blazer, and we were like in our 20s, and we would wreck this thing, man. We would we'd be driving and just randomly be like, he'd just turn and roll over like the sidewalk or go up on the island, and then we'd go into parks, and then we'd like drive in the parks. There was this park where we had a bunch of hills. And we launched it. I mean, that thing got air. We launched it, and the whole back glass broke, right? And so this thing was all beat up because, I mean, we purposely were trying to just destroy this thing, but it was bulletproof, man. So we could be driving on any street and then just like, oh man, just drive over that and whatever. So this thing was beat up. All this to say, one time we were like in our 20s. I must have been. I mean, no, actually, I was younger. I was probably 19 or 20 years old. Mm-hmm. And we're driving. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're driving down the street, and we get pulled over. Okay, for no reason other than we're 2 Latino guys. And back then, you dressed a little. I mean, I wasn't ever lived in the hood, but I fit a profile. Mm. Okay, I mean. I get it. I never looked at it like, oh, that's discrimination. To me, it made sense that we're getting pulled over. It's 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
You had no hair.
2 guys. I might have actually been bald at those times. I did shave my head for a while, and the whole back of the glass is blown out on this thing. Okay, I mean, so to me, it's kind of like if you're a cop, you're not doing your job if you don't pull us over.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They took us down, searched the car, the whole deal. And then that was it. I not at any moment did I feel like, okay, this guy's racist. I feel the same way about like TSA. Like I look Arab.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the way I look at it is, I fit a profile. I have a problem if you don't search me more if I'm going on a TSA. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That supposedly we're paying taxes for TSA to keep us safe. So the way I look at it is, well, I'm not that young anymore, but at some point I was military aged, right? I just believe you should scrutinize me more.
Of course.
And I would have no problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that you're just letting me walk through.
Right. It's kind of like that one many moons ago, just 6-7 months ago, there was a guy, it was actually a politician that showed up in China with a gun.
Yeah.
And nobody bothered to check him. And now he's over there in China, with the gun. And can you imagine now how is he gonna bring it back?
Yeah. So this next clip, man. Michaela Montgomery. So funny thing is that I actually randomly. So Michaela Montgomery, she was at the Atlanta Trump rally, and I think she is like one of the leaders over there of the BLM movement chapter, I guess, there in Georgia. And I actually saw the video. It came up on my feed when Trump met her at I'm sorry, for Blexit. Sorry.
Oh, Blexit. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I was going to say BLM, bro.
And she was at a Chick-fil-A with a bunch of students, and Trump went into Chick-fil-A, and I saw that video when it came out. So when Trump brought her on stage and was telling the story, just know that is actually what happened. She was there with a bunch of students. He walks into the Chick-fil-A, and they are just so happy to see them. It's her and a bunch of black kids, and she is like this activist, and she actually has, she's an activist, and she has all these young black conservative kids, and they were so pumped, man. And Trump was taking pictures with them, and they were so happy to see him. He spent a lot of time with them, and then Trump tells a story where she's like, thank you for, you funded historically black colleges. And he told her how it saved her school because she graduated from a historically black college. So let's play this clip here from a real black woman. Okay. And she reminds me of Diamond and Silk, man. So I think this is the beginning of a star being born. And if Trump was racist, and I know you can make the argument that it's because she likes him and he's going to give her a platform, but I mean, if you're racist, right?
Right. Yeah.
But he's giving her an opportunity. Diamond and Silk were nobody until Trump gave her a platform.
100%, 2016.
And they made it big after him, right? So go ahead and hit play.
This is in Georgia, right? Stadium.
This is in Georgia.
The same stadium where Megan Thee Stallion was shaking her booty to the same community. I just want to throw that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is the same. I just want to throw that out there, man. But there's nobody shaking the booty here with Trump. Here we go.
Yeah.
But I am so much more than that. Not only do I serve as the CEO of Conserve the Culture, I am also the state director for Blexit down here in Georgia. I'm a Fulton County coordinator for America First Works, and I'm also launching a podcast on the Patriots Prayer Network, so put some respect on my name. See, as a young single mother, I can tell y'all that rent is too damn high.
There you go.
I can tell you that as a young black voter, groceries are too damn high.
Inflation.
Yup.
And as an American citizen, period, seniors like my parents should never have to choose between medicine or food. It should never be the quality of life versus the quantity of life. And I don't want to hear, but we capped the price of insulin and lowered the price of all these medicines. Yeah, but you raised the price of everything else, so it's about time to start telling the truth to Americans and let them know exactly what they're signing up for if they want to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
We need to vote based on facts and not feelings. See, under Harris and Biden, the average Georgia household is losing $1,060 per month, and inflation is at 21.4%. And due to the war on energy, average gas prices have reached record highs for the state. We also did a poll, and 80% of us black Americans are not happy with the current state of the economy, so I'm going to need 80% of y'all to vote accordingly in November.
That's right.
Your feelings about things that have been said, but I want you guys to pay attention to what has been done. They don't want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game. See, the first step in destroying the black community is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor,
watch out now.
Why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families?
Boom. Stop it right there, bro.
Man.
Stop it right. So, guys, this woman is a star. So, contrast Kamala Harris with her. This woman is more qualified to run for president. It will be a shame if Kamala Harris were to win and be the first female president in history because she's a dummy. The woman is an idiot. Yeah. She is clueless. She so Willie Lewis Brown, okay, so this is what the stat is. She was an escort in San Francisco. So Kamala Harris was a hooker, okay?
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know this?
No, I knew she was dating him, but I didn't know she was a
She was a hooker,
real,
okay?
hooker.
So she was an escort, okay? And she slept around with all these politicians, and that's how she met with Willie Lewis Brown Jr.,
which was the mayor.
Which was the mayor, and he was the big shot in San Francisco. And then basically she became his mistress. Okay,
side piece,
and that's how she started her political career.
That's correct.
Okay, these are facts. Okay, so so think about that. That's who they're trying to prop up as your first woman president. Okay, they're trying to pretend like she's black. compare this woman. This is a real black woman, super smart. I mean, you just heard her speak, super articulate, okay? Knows what she's saying. And guys, she's a single mom, okay? Which brings me to this, guys. Side note, okay? At our church, I'm sure at your church, you do like the backpack outreach. Do you guys do like a backpack outreach, Alfred?
Yes.
So we had the backpack outreach this weekend at my church, and I volunteered to help out. I'm part of the security team at my church, so I was there all day. And this is actually the first time I go. I mean, they do it every year, but I never go. But one of the things that stood out to me is that the majority of I'm sorry, let me explain what it is. It's at our church, people donate backpacks and school supplies.
Correct.
And what they'll do is they'll have people come. It's an outreach, and they can come with their kids, and they can get a free backpack and school supplies. Okay.
Very cool.
So a lot of churches do this. It's it's a way to do. It's an outreach, and people get to hear the gospel and so on and so forth. But nearly every person there was guess what race?
Either Latino or black.
Mostly black women, right? Mostly black women. The overwhelming majority were black women, and my church isn't in a city where there's majority black people, right? This isn't like where there's a lot of black folk, right? There are so mostly black women, and I have to assume that they don't have fathers, because I didn't see any men coming with them. Now, they could have been at work, obviously, but what's the odds of that, right? I mean, most families are not. Husband and wife families aren't going to need to go get a free backpack.
Right. That's true.
So I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that pretty much every single one of those women there did not have a father, and they're single, and they're with their kids, 3-4 of them. You know what I'm saying? They're to get backpacks. Okay. Crazy. So when we talk about what's the biggest problem for black, in black, for the black community, and when people get attacked because it's the fact that there isn't a father in the household, you see that with your own eyes. I mean, you see it, I think I talked about it on one of our podcasts where, when you really think about it, it stands out to, okay, for you black people, sorry, I'm saying a lot of, I'm sounding like real racist today, but for you black people, just know, for us non-blacks, okay, when we're out in the world, okay, and we're at a park, at a anywhere where there's a lot of people at a mall, it actually stands out to me anyways when I see a husband, a wife, and their kids, and that they're black. A full family. It's actually not common. And 9 times out of 10, I'll tell my wife, I guarantee you they're not American black. They're probably...
I've seen Nigerians.
Right.
I've seen them with the family. You see the nucleus. You see the man and the woman and the kids. And it's usually
not American blacks when you see that.
Correct.
And I will... And my wife, she gets mad at me.
Yeah,
and I will make a point to follow this so she can hear them talk and be like, oh, there. I was right. They don't have an American accent.
Oh, exactly.
Man.
Either they're from they're Haitian descendants, or or Jamaican, or or either that. Sometimes there's Honduran that are also dark skinned.
Right, so, dark skin could be Cuban
too.
Right,
that's correct.
9 times out of 10 it's when you see that. So first of all, it's rare when you see it. Right,
correct. That's correct.
And when you do see it, then usually it's not black American. It's not black American.
It's usually an immigrant.
That's correct. And I mean, you just be real. So that's why I think it's crazy when people get attacked and say, "Oh, that's racist." No, it's the truth. I mean, be honest about it. It's the reality. Can you escape in the next tab? So
sure. Yeah, sure. It's crazy. Like I had I was talking to my friend's his girl. I went over to their house, and we were talking about the whole black culture and all this stuff, right? So I was letting her know some stuff and whatnot, and we got into the conversation, and then I let her know, I'm like, when we're talking about this, or when I talk to somebody about, like, speak to somebody about this, they find it to be like a racist thing, and I'm like, but it's not racist when it's backed by facts. Like, it's not your intention to sound this way. It's just like, hey, if we're spitting some facts, like, let's just put XYZ here, and then you determine how bad it is. But you also have to go and look it up and see for yourself, like, this is what's going on. So I find it weird that when you do talk on these kinds of subjects, people find it offensive, and I don't understand why personally. Like, if I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, and I'm
well, they find it, they've been programmed to get offended by it, because the media gets offended anytime somebody goes on the show and they make these claims. They start getting they get all annoyed, and that's just racist, that's not true, so on and so forth. Because why? Because they cannot allow for the black community to identify what the problem is, because and once they come to terms with that's the problem, then now you can actually work towards a solution.
100%. Yeah,
and that's not a problem they want to solve. This is the problem with the Democrats. They never want to solve anything.
No.
They don't want to fix the border, right? Why? Because then if the border gets fixed and we actually get path to citizenship, they can no longer they can never hold themselves as the savior for the Latino people being pro-immigrant. And they can never demonize the Republican Party anymore if that problem gets solved.
Yep.
Right? This is why they never want to highlight the opportunity zone stuff, all the accomplishments for Trump that Trump did. They criticize him for it. Why? Because then that's now a talking point you're removing for them. 100%. Right? If you solve the issue of fatherhood in the black community, then guess what? Now you don't have as many black people going to jail.
Yeah, you
don't have them doing drugs.
I don't know why, but I actually thought about this today. Like, let's just say for whatever reason, right? If it did get solved, right, and we so happen to now actually just put laws into place to say, hey, you know what? If you have if you're intimate with a female, and now there's a law stating that as a father, you now have to be present in your child's life for the first 18 years. After that, you're out. You can do whatever you want. But imagine if people actually put laws into place like that. And now, I don't want to say forced, because that sounds bad, but the problem would be solved for the majority of that whole...
Well, I don't know if that's because that's pretty much what child support does.
No, but like, you have to be physically present. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the problem what you got to do is you have to get rid of the entitlement programs, because right now it's easy as a black, or any man, not just a black man, any man can get a woman pregnant and walk away because you know that they can just get welfare and food stamps.
That's I don't. Yeah, but
I know your mind doesn't think that way, but understand that if you took that away, okay, let me put it to you a different way. If food stamps and welfare did not exist in housing, do you think that it would? You don't think that would have an impact on the decision of any man to just walk 100%. Away?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it would. But that's what I'm saying. Like again, for me personally, like, I could never imagine, seeing like the first child and then being like, well, you know what? Sorry, I'm out, deuces, and then bye. Like, I know it happens,
right?
But it's like, I can't see myself doing that. So it's very hard for me to see how other people do that.
Yeah, no, I understand, but that's just what the reality is. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so right now we have this whole controversy because, going back to Kamala Harris, where now the media is just adamant that she's black, right? Adamant that she's black. She's not, okay? Her father was Jamaican. Her mom is Indian, okay? Her father is Jamaican, and by the way, owner of slaves. Okay, wow. So her family, well, not her. I don't think her father personally, but her ancestors were slave owners. Okay,
dang, pulling a Sonny Hostin, man.
So her, that's a fact. You guys can look it up. So
that's true. Sonny Hostin.
So she owes reparations. So
to somebody.
So just play this clip, because full on right here. Does this sound to you like she's owning her blackness? Play.
An Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about, to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
yes.
But actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of.
Notice she didn't correct her, said, "I'm sorry, no, I'm black."
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Don't even know what you're talking about.
And so, were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food, lots of rice and yogurt, potato curry.
Notice she didn't say no. I was raised on fried chicken and collard greens.
Deep cut. Okay,
True.
so what we're cooking today is two things. One of the South Indian staples is dosa, which is kind of like a sourdough crepe. And then we're going to make a potato curry, which is the traditional accompaniment. So I printed out...
So anyways, this makes the point.
Which is I printed out a recipe from the internet.
At no point is she correcting her.
Yeah.
Right?
I have an actual question, right? Because I've been seeing a lot of Kamala just getting hyped up, whether she's on the black side or whether she's on the Indian side, right? So just like this comedian, right? By the way, she's a terrible comedian.
Hit escaping.
Would you guys be this excited as this lady is if you found out like there was a Latino president? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't. I'd be like, well, you're Mexican. That's cool. What does that do for me? Like. I don't know you personally, so it's not like a thing. So I don't know why they hype her up so much where they're like, oh my God, I don't know if you know she's South Indian. Like, what does that matter?
I think overall, man, this is something that, I mean, we've been seeing from the Democrat Party, bro, over the last 20 years, with Obama. Mm-hmm. Since Obama came in, this has been the game plan ever since. Can you imagine over the last 4 years, man, nothing's changed? The border is wide open. Inflation,
well, it hasn't. It's gotten worse. It's changed, but it's gotten worse.
It's gone worse, but to them, it's plausible deniability, right? They're going to deny it. Nothing's going on. Everything's great because we have incompetence, right? And so right now, this is the same thing that we're going to have. We're going to have for the next 4 more years. Obama's third term. I call it the term. Obama's term. I mean, fourth term, because think about it. 8 years out of Obama, right? 4 years out of Biden, and now we're gonna have another 4 years with this knucklehead, and I mean no change.
You know what though? A part of me like wants her to win, and let me tell you why. Okay,
right?
Because of the simple fact that if she does win, right, people are so hell bent on like, hey, let's get Kamala Harris in there because she's a woman, because she's black, because this XYZ, whatever. So. If she does get into office, a part of me wants to see it just because I know for a fact it's going to get 1,000 times worse because she doesn't know how to do anything. So to me, it's like when you hit the 2 or 3 year mark under her belt and how bad it's going to get, like, is it going to start waking people up more 100% to be like, you know what? Like, why are we doing this? And then, a big part of me was like, no, they're not. Then that's where it scared me. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll retract that statement. But it's...
You're not. I mean, look at how much worse do you get than Biden? Right? I mean, you heard. Yes, but listen, this is the difference. This is the difference, though, is that I think that the problem with Kamala now is that the dangerous thing with Kamala is they learned how to manage Biden, somebody who's a corpse. But at least Kamala can speak. Mm-hmm. She can speak.
Bro, she cannot speak.
No, she
cannot speak with the teleprompter, bro. She needs to have a teleprompter, just like Joe Biden.
That's my point.
Oh, gotcha.
Alfred.
Okay, gotcha.
Is that she can actually read the teleprompter. They can feed her the words, and she's going to do a good job of not fumbling. She's gonna do a good job of reading.
As long as she doesn't get, if she goes off the teleprompter, bro, we're screwed.
But
she's not going to.
Yeah, she's not going to.
That's the thing. Okay. That's the problem. Is they got a better puppet.
Yeah,
a puppet that works.
Yeah,
Biden was a puppet with broken strings.
Yeah,
and they're trying to move, and the damn strings working, and the hand ain't moving, and the mouth isn't moving. Now
or going in places or trying to fall off and fumble.
They can't move the feet. They can't control it. She can put, and now they're able to do what they've always been doing. Which is, they have the media.
They're going to write her out some speeches.
Write some good speeches. And just like it'll be Obama 2.0, where she can 4.0. She can sound good because she's going to follow the teleprompter. And the people are going to think she's the greatest president ever.
She ain't
because
going out of line.
all her celebrity friends are going to come over and look how cool she is. Like that little video with the look at. So once they get her in, it's easier to paint her like she's such a great thing.
Exactly.
Put her on the shows and be like, oh, she's so great, the first woman president. Look at her. Look at her personality. She has such a great personality, right? So they'll be able to get away with all that stuff, and it's insane. But like you guys said, the problem with her is I don't know. Yeah, she is far more dangerous because of that.
She's radical,
but she's a radical. So we want to play this clip because this is how radical this woman is. Okay, guys, she's talking about pudding and she's laughing about it. Okay, right. This is what I mean, guys. I mean, listen and pay attention on how she can talk about putting parents in prison if they don't take their kids to school, and look at it's as if it's just normal. This is nothing radical. Imagine Trump saying things like this.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit play.
I would not be standing here were it not for the education I received. And I know many of us will say the same thing. And I believe a child going without an education is tantamount to a crime. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
I mean, look at her.
Well, this was a little controversial in San Francisco.
Wow.
And frankly, my staff went bananas. They were very concerned because we didn't know at the time whether I was going to have an opponent in my re-election race. But I said, look, I'm done.
Delusional, bro.
This is a serious issue, and I've got a little political capital, and I'm going to spend some of it.
Hit pause.
And this is what we did.
Think about this, okay? So she's laughing because she's like, her staff is like, oh, they're concerned. Not concerned because this is something radical, ma'am. I don't think we should do this. We are servants of the people. We cannot be putting people in prison just because they choose not to send their kids to school, right? I mean, as a parent, that's your right. I believe it. I mean, some of you, and this is what's so scary. There's people out there that are like, oh, that's horrible. I agree with her. That's a crime to not give your kid an education, right?
As a parent, I wouldn't let not knowing what the education system is and how they're trying to indoctrinate our kid, I would not.
Right. And that's a good point, Alfred, because that's one thing I wanted to point out. And you reminded me when I listened to this. It's not, she's saying about them going to school.
Sure.
Right. So she's more concerned with them going to school, not about getting an education. She's not using those words.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's sending them to school, which I know it's kind of semantics, but the reality is because we understand that the public school system is really an indoctrination program for our kids.
And $20,000 a year for your children to make it to public school.
Yeah, so they want to make sure that if you don't send your kids to school to get indoctrinated by us, we will put you to jail, right? And so notice that they're more concerned with getting reelected. That's why she stopped. That's not why she stopped, but she's like, I have some political capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny to her. This is how arrogant these people are. This is the mind of a dictator. People claim Trump is a dictator, but you've never heard him imply. I mean, this is coming from a mind of a person that thinks they know better than you.
Yeah.
And that they have authority over you, stupid parents.
Yeah.
Because we need to make sure that you're sending your kids to school or we're going to put them in jail. We have that power to do it. We know better than you do. That is dangerous stuff. This is what dictators, that's how they look at us.
And that's what bugs me about like that particular side is because of the simple fact that, well, again, it's rules for thee, not for me. And it's like they think they know better on every aspect of everything in life. Whether it's your taxes, whether it's how you spend your money, whether it's how you want to raise your kids, whether it's, that whole thing in LA right now where they're having, where Newsom signed the bill to, have teachers not tell parents.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, who are you to tell me what I should and shouldn't know about my kid? Like, if something happens to my kid, like, I'm coming to that school, dude, 100%.
Yeah. To clarify, where parents are not allowed to tell, teachers are not allowed to tell parents if their kids identify under a different gender.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean, not even just that, but take it a step further. Let's say if your kid's suicidal for whatever reason,
right? They can't tell you. Right.
So if something happens to my kid and you didn't tell me, guess who I'm coming after?
This is dictator Mao type stuff. Dude. This is Hitler type stuff. This is real Hitler stuff.
Yeah, that's some real Hitler type stuff.
That's a real Hitler
for
stuff.
Sure.
So hit play. Let's finish this one off.
Recognized that in that initiative, as a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick.
I have a huge stick. And she's going to beat you over the head with it.
Let's work in tandem around our collective objective and goal, which is to get those kids in school.
Collective objective and goal.
So, to that end,
Everybody's kids, not just your kids.
Letterhead. Now, let me tell you something about my letterhead. When you're the DA of a major city in this country, usually the job comes with a badge. And there is often an artistic rendering
School time,
of said
children.
badge on your
Story time.
stationery. So I sent a letter out on my letterhead to every parent in the school district outlining the connection that was statistically proven between elementary school truancy, high school dropouts, who will become a victim of crime, and who will become a perpetrator of crime. We sent it out to everyone. A friend of mine actually called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She freaked out.
She freaked out and she's happy about it.
Held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail. Yes, we achieved intended effect.
See, that was...
So think about it. She thinks it's funny. They get joy. So listen to it. So just how arrogant she is. Her letterhead with her name, right? Going out to all the parents to strike fear in their heart because Kamala is gonna put them in jail.
That's what that sounded off to me. Is like I'm putting fear into you, so you know, like this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not playing. Yeah. But that to me right there is 1,000% like some Hitler stuff.
That is dictator stuff.
So I don't understand where the rhetoric comes from one side to say, oh well, you know, Trump's gonna do this and Trump's gonna do that, and it's like, okay, well, we already ran through 4 years of him. But let's run through 4 years of her and then tell me something. Like it's no, dude. Like that's not, I don't know, man.
Yeah, imagine what she's gonna do, guys. She's gonna be far worse. She's a total idiot. You know, she's talking about this big stick and she's gonna beat you over the head with her big stick. Trump never talks like this. He doesn't. This is total dictator stuff, and that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous. Is because she does it with the smile. She does it with her cackling and laughing, right? And
to be the devil's advocate, I mean, people that are out there and paying close attention to this, and it might sound good to you. Okay, it might sound good to you. Exactly. It might sound good to you that she's looking for the well-being of the truant kids.
Yep.
She cares for the kids. But, you know, what about, you know, they get bullied, you know, she's using the stats here.
But that's the thing, Alfred, is that I don't need you or the government to worry about my kids. I worry about my kids. I'm their parent, so you can like butt out of it. Like I don't need you to worry about my kids, man. Like that's where I get like mad because I'm like, dude, I don't need the government in my business. I don't need them to take care of my kids, give me food stamps, whatever the case may be. Just let me do me and let me make my own way and have my kids be educated the way I want them to be educated.
Well, sir, you are the small 20% of parents that actually feel that actually, you know, understands the role of a parent.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, there's about 80% of them that feel that since they all work, they all have 16 hours of work, job, they feel that the school is actually the playground for the kid, you know, the babysitter, you know, because I'm working and I need to make sure that I get the money because right now everything's too high. And at the end of the day, there's parents out there that are going to look at this video and actually say, well, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
They don't see nothing wrong with it. They don't see the tendencies that this woman's going to use the big stick, use the, you know, the letterhead to, you know, apprehend you, scare you.
Based off of the record prior to her being a VP, I had already gone into it knowing that she is just a con artist, man. And it's crazy how people just look past it or just can't see the fact that she's conning everybody.
Bro, I mean, think about it. 2020, this woman was under 13%. She was not liked.
Nobody liked her. Everybody called her the worst vice president in history. All of a sudden now she's the greatest.
She's loved. She's on a pedestal, and she's the greatest choice we have. Now we only have the dictator Donald Trump, Orange Man bad, and now cackling Kamala.
Yep, the same people that told you that Biden was sharp as a tank are the same people that are selling you on her. But let's hit play. This is how dumb this woman is. Okay, this is how low this is. Hit play. This is somebody who's trying to be president, guys.
So you're now no longer
talking about a cloud.
Keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud.
Yeah, the cloud's above her head.
Above us, right? It's no longer in a physical place.
So there you go.
I'm pretty sure it's on
so you go, children, somewhere. Ladies and so you go, children. It's no longer in the file cabinet, you know, the documents. It's in the cloud.
Yeah, so this is the problem, guys. We're gonna get more of the same with Kamala Harris. So I'm gonna read this article here from the New York Post, and on the New York Post, yeah, I'm gonna read that right now, Alfredo, and then we'll get into that.
Sure.
But the New York Post is talking about, the headline is here: Team Biden is shocked at massive migrant fraud, but still wants to wave them in. So this is an article that talks about which. We know that they've been bringing people in from other countries, but let me just read this here. It says, surprise, surprise, Team Biden has halted a program that flies migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela into the United States after the Department of Homeland Security uncovered massive fraud by the program's applicants. And guess what the fraud is, guys? The fraud is that they're just now finding out that these people are claiming that they're, claiming asylum when they really don't have it. Basically, they're lying.
Oh no,
they're lying basically.
Right. So I mean, think about it.
I'm shocked.
Look at us. We're all shocked, bro. We're all shocked.
Jaws dropped and everything.
Whenever they came in about 3 years ago, and they said we have a way to keep track of them. By any means, they're gonna use a QRC code, an app, and we're gonna keep track of where they're at.
Yep.
Right there, bro. That to me was like, you guys are so full of crap,
right?
That you were eventually gonna find out how fraudulent this is.
Yeah. So this program, it says it was never got congressional authorization and violates laws already in the books. Yet, despite the plainly obvious likelihood of fraud, President Biden and border czar Kamala Harris went ahead with it anyways, flying in nearly 500,000 people since October 2022. Now a review by DHS Citizenship and Immigration Services found that possibly tens of thousands of applications from migrant sponsors contained fraudulent info. So meaning they put in fraudulent information as a sponsor. So I'm guessing fake names, emails, phone numbers, whatever. The same address using the same addresses, for example, used by many of them, fake social security numbers and zip codes, and even the same verbatim answers to questions. So, I mean, it makes sense, guys. Do you think do we have enough staff to call every sponsor and check to make sure it's legit?
No.
Bro, I mean, do we have
thousands and thousands of these things?
But why? I mean, come on. Why don't we just get the 80,000 FBI IRS agents? Put them in there. Have them start working and doing all these, evaluations.
They're too worried about the tax-paying citizens like us, and they want to come to our doors.
Get the Secret Service, bro. The Secret Service that doesn't do crap. Get them in there. Let them go and go after these people.
But that's the thing, Alfred, is that they're not worried about these people. They're worried about people like us that live here, that are paying taxes, that are constantly supporting whatever, anything that goes on in the U.S. so they can fund something else. And that's what that bug, it's super annoying.
Yeah,
100%, bro. I mean, when they first started bringing in people saying that these are people that are struggling in Venezuela, right? And we're going to keep track of them through a QRC code. Nothing's going to happen. Mayorkas, lying butt, he knew exactly what he was doing, bro. I mean, whatever. I mean,
yeah. Can cue up the next tab, Alfred? But yeah, it's crazy because they're going to restart it again. Supposedly they're just going to reform it and reform this and
of course
try to make it so they don't have fraud. But it's just ridiculous. And again, guys, this is Kamala Harris is in charge of the border, and this is what you're going to get. But yeah, so we want to take you guys back because again, we're sticking to Kamala Harris here. We're going back to Tulsi Gabbard, man. Tulsi Gabbard just destroyed her.
I like her.
Okay, and we just want to go back in time when Tulsi Gabbard was calling her out on her criminal prosecution record.
And to give credit,
so listen closely, black people.
To give credit where it's due, man. Tulsi Gabbard is actually a moderate. This is us where we used to be. Hey, we're for the people, right? Other than that she believes in abortion. Other than that, I mean, this girl's got it.
Yep.
She's got it.
Yeah.
All right, check it out.
Hit play.
Here we go.
Response. I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president. But I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
Yep.
She blocked evidence.
Look at her shake her head,
Look at
though.
her
She shakes her head like, oh, that didn't happen.
Death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system
Look at
in
that,
place
dude.
that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
This is the little secret of a
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy
man.
because Kamala sits up there, right? And Kamala was on their show when Charlemagne actually asked her the weed question. I don't know if you guys seen that, but he asked her and she's just like, oh yeah, a little bit or whatever. And so she's arresting people for the same thing she did. And the fact that people don't go back and look at that, it's like that's very hypocritical. And then she stands up here and then shakes her head like, nah, that didn't happen. But dude, we have the proof. So I don't know why she tried to sit up there and lie.
Yeah, I mean, in the video, this video we showed is not the proof, but it was all reported here in California. You can probably find articles. She confessed it herself. I believe it's just they start burying this stuff, so they're already cleaning. They're already
cleaning her
stuff. Escape out of this one and go to the next one, Alfred. But yeah, guys, and when you listen to Tulsi, this is why I think it'd be so sad if she were to win, because you have the quality of people. It would be a damn shame for this woman to go down in history as the first woman president when you have quality women like Tulsi Gabbard. And guys, black people, they keep giving you guys generic versions of black candidates. Obama is not even fully black. And yet they're forcing you guys to claim him as the first black president. He's half white. So, I mean, I'd make the argument he's half black.
He's biracial.
And then now they're trying to shove Kamala Harris down your throat, who's Jamaican and Indian. And they're gonna have you embrace her as your first black woman president.
Now,
like the generic, they won't even give you a real black person.
Like some of you will forget. Some of you will forget in the beginning that we saw in the beginning of this podcast. You've already forgotten.
Yeah.
That she was making dosa. You know what I mean? Like you already
fried chicken,
not fried chicken.
Right?
Not
collard greens,
not collard greens, not gumbo, nothing.
Not gumbo.
No, it was dosa.
But Alfred, remember what I said a few episodes ago that we like the thing with the Democrats is they'll say one thing and then let it marinate for X amount of years, and then it'll be like it never happened, and then they'll turn it around into something different, and then be like, hey, this is what the real story is, in hopes that people forget what happened 2-3 years prior to that, and people don't. As Isaac likes to call them, layman's, they don't go back and look at the evidence. They don't go back and try to research, hey, did Kamala really say that? Did she really do that? No, they don't care. They care about the now and what they got pushing forward with her as of now.
And we mentioned it. We mentioned it here many times. We've already said, hey, listen, the media wants to act as your memory. They want to tell you what to remember, what to see, what you're getting to see, what you're going to be fed. And I think that's
who you should vote for, what you shouldn't vote for, what props to put up, all this stuff, man.
Definitely. All right, let's cue
Yeah,
this
so
video.
Tulsi Gabbard, I guess you guys, so again, going along, the media is full force now trying to prop up Kamala Harris, shove her down everyone's throat. And they're going as far as it looks like they edited, and I actually saw this episode of Joe Rogan.
I did too.
Okay, where the original episode where he was talking about Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so what they did is they chopped up the video and they edited it out, make it where he's talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and they're claiming that he's talking about Kamala Harris.
100%.
And now rumor has it that he's going to sue over this, but we'll see what happens. But let's hit play. Here's Tulsi talking about this.
Not sure if you guys caught this, but MSNBC was exposed today for yet another set of lies. They deceptively edited together this video of different Joe Rogan comments to make it appear that he was singing the praises of Kamala Harris.
She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. She is a strong woman. She is a person.
Looking at the bottom, it says Joe Rogan predicts that Kamala Harris.
Medical units. She was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want. She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. They just want no Trump, no matter what.
This is not reflective at all of the truth of what Joe Rogan said. And I think MSNBC has since taken this post down. But what's really serious here is that not only does Joe Rogan deserve an apology, there's actually something far bigger at stake here. This is yet another example of how MSNBC is working hand in glove with the Democrat elite and the Kamala Harris campaign to try to spread lies, simply things that are not true. So what this means is MSNBC is a for-profit corporation. They are helping Kamala Harris's election campaign. And what they are doing through their platform would qualify as an in-kind contribution to her campaign. It's worth a lot of money. The fact that they are doing this should require the Federal Elections Commission that manages campaign spending and campaign finance to require them to report this as an in-kind campaign contribution or to be punished for abusing their position in trying to use their platform that has nothing to do with journalism. It is purely a propaganda platform.
Mm-hmm.
And that they are using this in order to try to help Kamala Harris get elected. These people need to be held accountable for what they're doing because otherwise
go ahead
they will continue to do
Joe
this.
Rogan should sue for that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, they need to be held accountable for what they're doing. And this is what, again, going back to the whole retribution conversation with Trump. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know how they can do something. I don't know, guy. I'm not a constitutional expert because the press does have certain freedoms, and there is freedom of speech, freedom of the press.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's got to be some sort of this. When they do things like this, I have to imagine it disqualifies them from being press because now.
You're just making stuff up.
They're more of an extension of the Democratic Party, or you can maybe make the argument that they are a institute working for the Democratic or the Harris campaign. I just have to believe that there's got to be an argument for that.
100%
in court.
No, 100%, and I think overall
when are they no longer press, right?
I mean, they're not bipartisan, and I think that's the problem. You know, when you're press, I mean, at least when you're press, I shouldn't be like, hey, putting my own personal opinions about each and sides. I should always look at the facts and just say, hey, this is what I'm going to report. I'm staying neutral, right? And as they should. But unfortunately, here in the United States, man, you got all these major, networks that are just working hand in hand with a specific party, and I think that's unfair for the other.
I guess what I'm getting at, Alfred, is that legally, okay, so in law everything is defined.
Sure.
Right? The meaning that if you no longer fit the definition of press or being a media entity, then therefore you're no longer protected by everything that comes along with you being part of the press.
I hear you.
So what I'm trying to understand, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but I have to believe that there's got to be a loophole or something or an argument that can be made in court that these institutions no longer are acting as a press. Therefore, they're no longer protected by whatever parts of the Constitution allow them or provide those protections for them.
Yeah, right? Like all of the special privileges.
Yeah, they lose those privileges.
Yeah, they lose them. That makes sense because then again, you just become.
I mean, now you're like she's saying, you're an extension of the campaign.
Exactly. You become a propaganda channel as opposed to now a media outlet that is trying to feed the news impartially to everybody.
And I wish somebody would have somebody that's an expert ask these. I mean, guys, like, share, and subscribe so we get big enough. We get millions of followers so that we can get the kind of clout where we can call in the best constitutional expert so that I can ask them these questions. I want to know, why can't we? Is there a law? How would we go about this? Right. And what would be the consequences of doing so? Because we want to make sure we're not violating any laws. But I wish we had that kind of a platform. So we need your help, guys.
Yeah, there should be consequences because, once you stop falling under the press.
I mean, if you do, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I would think you don't because of the simple fact that now you're just spewing propaganda. You're not. You're one-sided. No matter
you have evidence. I mean, it's everywhere. But yeah, guys. So that's where we're at with Kamala Harris, man, and
don't vote Kamala.
Yeah, we just kind of get black people. You're being bamboozled, man, big time. And like you said, I wouldn't care if it was like. If it was a Latino person, I would not care.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't either. I'd look at him and I'd be like, okay, cool, he's Mexican. What does that do for me personally? Does it lower my taxes? Is the food going to go down? Is gas going to go down? Is my rent going to... Like, what are we talking about? If you're just, like, standing up there and you're like, hey, guys, I'm Mexican, vote for me. I'm going to be like, no, dude, like, that... Why? Give me reasons.
And if anything, you know what? If there was a Latino person running, I think I would be far more critical of that guy or girl.
Yeah.
I think that especially if I would want it to be a Latino that is, or a person that is Latino, right? Mm-hmm. I would, if it's going to be the first Latino, I would want this dude to be like, or female to be super smart.
Yep.
I want them to be super qualified because if it's going to happen, I'd want to be like, that's cool. You know what I mean? That's cool. I'd want this person to be like, I don't know, man, some freaking war hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the guy was a freaking SEAL Team 6 guy, and freaking is missing an arm because he saved 30 people. And while he was at war, he also invented something. You know what I mean? Like he built, he freaking bent some crazy invention like Elon Musk or something.
He got
you know
the
what I mean?
Purple Heart during war or something. Yeah, dude.
And while doing that, got married and adopted like 10 kids.
See, but that's all his accolades, and I could respect that. I could look at him and say, you know what? Okay, you have my respects, but now let's get into the policy version of what you plan to do for everybody, not just the Latino community, but everybody, because we all here live in the United States. So you can't just be like, well, Latino community, I'm just gonna start making bills that directly affect you guys, so you guys can do X, Y, Z.
Oh no, 100%. More importantly, he would have to be a conservative, and he would have to be, everything that I want first and foremost. And then this dude better have a crazy awesome story. Like this dude, like, I don't know, man. He's missing arms because the guy freaking saved people with no arms.
One leg.
And like, I don't know, killed a bunch of Taliban guys with just his toes, on the trigger, and like just some crazy awesome story. We're like, man, what a legend. You know what I mean? What a legend. And the guy knows like 10 languages, because I don't know, the guy on his spare time, just some super cool guy. But speaking of legends, guys like this guy, man.
Yes.
So I wanted to show this, and we'll end with this, and I'm at the risk of going long because I think this interview with PBD and Nick Irving, who was a sniper, I think 33 or 31 confirmed kills. He had this interview with this guy Nick, man, and they're talking about PBD is going through step by step with him to go over and say what would it take for a couple of things. They go through, in light of what happened, how can Trump be protected? What would it cost? What would it take to make this happen? Okay, and to me, this interview is important, and I actually want to say some things after this that just I'm frustrated over after this interview. But go ahead and hit play, guys.
Your son that served the military. You're a well-known decorated sniper like yourself, 33 confirmed, 3.5 months. Afghanistan, 100+ assignments you've been on, protecting VP, protecting Hillary, First Lady, protecting...
He called her Hillary, right?
Guys.
No. He did say Hillary.
He did Hillary.
He's at the house or on the Trump plane, and you're talking to him. Mm-hmm. And even fast forward to a week later, after you've seen all these different things that is going on, you're sitting with the family. It's yourself... It's, say, his daughter Ivanka, Junior, Eric, all the people that are involved. What are you telling your father?
I'm telling him to, if not switch up his entire team, My dad, that's a tough one. I would not want him to continue to run under that Secret Service, detail. I would be in fear of my dad losing his life every time he went out, because it feels like the powers that be possibly just don't want him to be in power. And the amount of just controversy, and there's more questions than we have answers at this point. And I don't think we shouldn't even be at this level. I think that I would be in fear of my dad's life, and I would debate whether I would be comfortable with him continuing on to even venture out and hold these rallies, or even let alone become the next president.
Okay, so let's role play. You say that to me, and I tell you, Nick, you're overthinking it. America needs me right now. We need to make America great again. You know I'm not going to stop. So I understand. I love you. You're my son. I appreciate you giving me love and looking out for me. But tell me this. I'm going to do this. What I need from you is, what can we do and what do we need to do internally ourselves to make sure we're fully protected?
100% re-vet everybody. Go back through the vetting process again. Re-vet everybody. Somebody's from at the highest level. You'd have to. I would go back and re-vet everyone.
Okay, so what's your process for vetting? So he's going to ask you, okay, so how do we re-vet them? What do you ask them?
I want polygraphs on everybody in the detail.
Polygraphs?
Oh, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, 100%. At that level, yes, you have to.
Look at his eyes. He's like, oh,
I'm following. Polygraph, what else?
I want polygraphs done, complete history check for the past 10 years, and possibly even look at cell phone records as well.
Golly.
I need to know who you're talking to, texting,
That's right.
work phone, personal phone. Yeah, 100%. Those would be my big three.
Okay.
Hit pause real quick.
Polygraph, complete list of work history last 10 years.
So,
golly,
hold on. So
bro.
I want to know, I was curious, after I listened to that, I wondered, because I haven't really watched all the hearings, but, because we don't think like these guys, when I listen, I'm just like, God, it is common sense stuff. So I want to know, in this investigation, did they do a polygraph test on all these guys? Everybody that was there that night.
I don't think they did.
No.
Well, we don't know.
Well,
but if they did, I want to know.
I doubt it.
Number two, where did they? Because in this investigation, I would expect that they're doing exactly this. Did they check all their phone messages? I want phone messages, emails, text messages. Who did everybody that was there protecting Trump that day? This is those four things he mentioned should be being done in this investigation.
They should, but unfortunately, who's in charge of the investigation.
But we don't know.
But
what I'm saying is, I have not heard that question be asked,
and that's why he mentioned
in any of the hearings.
And that's why he mentioned in the beginning. He said we have more questions than answers. That already should tell you exactly who's in control of this whole nonsense.
Already right there, though, if you heard him, he said the powers that be just don't want him in office. So there's all the lady that got fired and all that obviously resigned.
They knew.
Whatever.
I think they already knew.
Yeah,
they already knew. We're gonna lose one.
Yeah.
Well, just so you guys understand, he doesn't have any insight onto what's going on. He is, of
course,
he's not in Secret Service.
No,
but in his professional opinion, he believes that the powers that be. My point is that in all these hearings, I find it interesting that I have not heard not one politician ask anybody in Secret Service during these hearings direct question: did you guys take polygraph tests for these guys?
Yeah.
Did you guys cheese their phones? Have you guys checked to see who they've been talking to? Did you guys re-vet everybody? I want to know. Nobody's asked the question, so we don't know the answer to that.
No, for sure. But where I got it from this dude, 100%. As far as this goes, as far as him saying the powers that may be, right? I assume with 33 confirmed kills, he's been through some stuff. He's seen some stuff. He's been on projects, I'm sure, that haven't been on the books. I'm almost certain.
Well, no, he talks about it, yeah.
So imagine the kind of stuff he knows behind closed doors that he is not allowed to explain. So when he says that to me, when he was saying that in the podcast, right, and I listened to it, I'm like, okay, so this guy is somebody. So the fact that he's now just a regular average Joe talking about this, I personally feel that he has some backing to that.
Well, I would just say his backing is just his experience. I don't think he has any insight like from whispers from inside specific to this investigation and this event. Because again, when you go back and you watch this whole podcast,
to this
that's what I'm talking
event?
about. Yes. He's just speaking on experience and based on all. You got to watch the whole thing. But
it's good.
Go ahead and hit play.
Cell phone, and so on the polygraph test that you do, what questions are you asking me? I'm one of the guys. What are you going to ask me?
Did you have any prior knowledge to the attempted assassination attempt? Did you have any prior knowledge that, anything, I guess, did you have any prior knowledge of an assassination attempt against Donald Trump would be one question. What's another good question? I'm trying to ask or think of some that we've been asked.
Maybe, do you have any hate towards Donald Trump?
Do you have any hate or disdain towards Donald Trump?
Are you in communication with anybody in the FBI?
There you go.
Or the CIA?
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, has given you direction on.
Right.
Okay, so now.
Those are scary questions.
Those are scary
Well,
questions.
of course.
Okay, so now let's just say he says to you, that's a great idea. He goes to his guy and says, everybody needs to be vetted with these following three. Say the team is 100 people, 50 people that you're going to go vet. Okay. Of the 50 people that you're going to go vet, 10 people say, I'm not going to go through the polygraph test and give up my phones.
You're done.
Automatic, you're out.
Automatic, you're done.
Okay, the other 40 that say yes, you go through it. Say 2 people come out, you feel uncomfortable. Well, now you keep the 38.
Yep.
And then what do you do to replace the other 12? Who do you go recruit? Where do you bring in from? Who else do you bring into the team?
I would go to the special operations community.
To the PMC side?
PMC side, 100%. That's where I would go.
Private military service for you laymen.
They have more real-world experience in high-threat environments like that. And I think that not having that level of threat, sometimes people can kind of get complacent and lackadaisical on the job. They're like, hey, there's no threat. We've never been, shot at. No assassination attempt has been conducted since like 1981, or somewhere around that time.
March 31st of 81. That's Reagan.
Yep. So I think that you can kind of get complacent and you feel invincible at that point. But I would go to the guys who have been in combat and been in that environment for like the past 20 plus years. And they're used to that line of work. They know where to look and how to operate.
When we were watching Kim Cheadle and all these guys are being interviewed, we need 60 to 90 days of investigation to get the report back to you. 60 to 90 days. What are you talking about, right? How many of these fixes are quick fixes? Like what you're asking for right now, Donald is going to say, no, I'm going to continue. Tell me the feedback. Then if that's the case, polygraph 100%, complete history of the 10 years, cell phone records, I need to know exactly what the communication is. Check. We do that. How quickly can we make these adjustments to increase the chance of us being safe?
Oh, a matter of weeks.
Oh, so still weeks, though.
Matter of weeks.
So that's still going to take a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we're losing a few weeks of campaign trail.
I think that's worth it. I think it's 100% worth it. I'd rather have a guy campaigning than no guy at all.
Are you still working with any PMCs or not at all?
No.
When's the last time you worked with a PMC?
2012 on the record.
On the record. I love that he says that because off the record, we don't know.
We don't know. That's what I'm saying, man.
Have you or any of your 30 snipers that are top 30 of the best snipers in the world, definitely in America, have they gotten any calls from any PMC saying we need new people to be hired to protect the president? Has there been any activity in the back end?
Negative.
Of course not.
It's more so guys are
so weird
going
to me.
overseas.
Hit pause. Hit pause. See,
hotspot.
Dude.
Where is this guy going?
So I understand why PBD is asking this question because Prosecutor David is trying to find out, has anybody from the Trump campaign reached out to anybody? Right now, granted, it's not like Nicholas Irving knows. Like, I mean, he knows a lot of the guys, right? Chances are he's going to hear something.
Sure,
but I mean, it's still possible that yes. I mean, he might not know. Maybe they did, and he's just not aware of it, or maybe they couldn't tell him. Maybe there's people that were contacted and were told like, keep this on the down low. Don't tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But odds are, I think he would probably know because it is a tight community.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick Davis is trying to make a point here, and we'll get to it here at the end. This is why I wanted to play this. But the fact that they have not reached out, let's just go with that, which I think they haven't, is very frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll finish that thought. Let's go ahead and hit play. I just want to make sure everybody kind of saw what's going on, or heard, I should say.
Libya. I think it was Libya, somewhere around that area. But yeah, no phone calls from Secret Service.
So let me ask you. Let's just say if I'm part of the Trump administration, I'm close to him, and I say, look, President, we've raised, let's just say $400 million, give or take, whatever the dollar amount is. We have to hire people. How much would it cost me to hire 10 of the best snipers from a PMC for them to be vetted with all these things that I have here to bring in, that I'm going to have them with me between now and November 5th? 10 snipers, what would it cost me between now and November 5th? So let's do the math. That's 90 days, so 3 months. So calculate 3 months for 10 snipers.
$1,000 a day.
I can hire a sniper for $1,000 a day,
dude. That's wild, man.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
Are you freaking kidding me?
That's a good paying gig.
Oh my
$1,000 a day.
Are you kidding me? So I can go. So I can get a hold of.
What's if?
So it's funny because PBD has that kind of money, so he's probably thinking, "Man, I can hire."
He's like, I can do this.
I can do this. So that's why he's like on his back.
Yeah,
on his back seat.
Are you kidding me?
On his back seat, saying, "Are you kidding me?" This whole time, but
it's shocking. The end number he gives you guys right now is going to be shocking because it's not a lot of money for what you're getting.
It's not a lot of money.
No, not at all.
You got to put the sound back on, Alfred, before you hit play.
10 snipers that I can have with 90 days. And who else would you hire? Like typically, like let's just say you want to develop, like we're developing a new site, an aggregator site that we're using 15 machine learning guys, but we need to have a project manager that's managing these guys to make sure we hit the hard deadlines, and we're getting weekly reports and all this other stuff. So if I get 10 snipers that I bring in, who else do I need to hire to be able to manage and lead these guys to work together? What else would I need?
One manager, one team lead. Of course, your weapons. You need an armorer. Yeah, and it's a
okay. Let's go with it. One manager, one team lead. How much is that? 90 days.
$1,500 a day.
$1,500 a day. So let's just go $1,500 a day. That's $135,000 over 90 days. Team lead and manager, same price. Can we say the same
price?
thing?
Yep.
So let's say $270,000 I got right there. Okay. I have $900,000 for the 10 snipers we're looking at. And then how much is it to rent the weapons? Or do guys bring their own weapons?
I would probably go with the weapons they asked for, get new weapons.
How much is that going to cost me? 10 snipers.
High end, we'll get some really good glass, 2 Schmidt-Bender scopes. 6.5.
Dude, wild, man.
Bro.
All in all, you could probably 10 snipers. Everything you need $100,000.
Total for the 10. So 10 grand
We're talking
a piece.
Radios, everything, yeah.
So to rent those equipments for 90 days is 10 grand per sniper for 90 days.
You can go a little bit higher than that.
I wish I knew why he
There's
wants
some
new
running
equipment.
About $15,000, $20,000.
Let's say 20. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got another
It runs
$200,000
Yeah.
for equipment. At this point, I'm at 117. I'm at $1,370,000. And if we were able to do that, Nick, if we were able to do that, we spend $1.4 million to get 10 snipers like you who are very good at what they do with 2 team leads, all the equipment properly. Between now and November 5th, what would be the likelihood of somebody being able to take out President Trump?
Impossible.
Did you say impossible?
Impossible.
President Trump's administration, I hope you're listening to this.
Yeah.
Is it easy for them to get a hold of PMCs to get this done?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So how many PMCs are there right now that they can call that can help with this?
At that level, snipers, not many snipers. I would say good, active, still up to quals. Thousands. There's a few thousand.
There's few thousand snipers.
3,000 to 5,000 snipers.
3,000 to 5,000 snipers.
You only need 10.
Is there a way for me to get to the
And
top
you only need
1%
10.
of all the snipers? If it's like a 3,000 snipers, I get the top 30?
Yeah, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Would that go higher than $1,000 a day?
At that level, you can bump it up to probably $1,500 a day, and we're talking the best $1,500 to $2,000. $2,000 a day, you're going to get some high quality SAS style Delta Force guys.
Let's go to $2,000 a day. That makes it 1.8.
Yeah, let's not spare any expense.
I'll have to add another $900,000 to
Let's
this
go to
budget.
$2,000 a day, guys.
$2.27 million.
You got a good team.
And if I get these guys that are Delta guys for the next 90 days, am I bulletproof 100%?
Bulletproof.
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 So for me, see, the process we just went through right now, and I appreciate you helping me out going through this process together. One, as a son, what would your feedback be? Number one, Dad, stop. I don't want you to do this because we love you. We don't want you to do anything. You went straight as a son talking to the father. Father tells you, I appreciate the love. I'm doing this for America. You can't stop me. I'm going to do it now. I want you to think about what things for me to do if we were to move forward. Perfect. I knew you were going to say that, and I'm ready for that. Number one, we have to go in, check everybody out, polygraph. Number two, we have to make sure we check their 10-year work history. Number three, we have to go out there and get all their phone records, who they're communicating with. Anybody that doesn't even want to do this, they're out. Okay, these guys don't want to do it. You're out. These other guys want to do it. Come on in. Next, we need to get 10 of the best snipers, a team leader, manager, get the equipment that's going to cost us around $2.2, $2.3 million. Okay, make the call. I want all the 10 snipers to be former Delta guys. I got them. They're lined up. They love you. They want to work for you. Perfect. Let's go. Now we're safe and protected. Let's roll. Yeah. Let's go on the campaign trail.
100%.
And from the process of us deciding we're going to spend this $2.2 million to getting the guys here with me today, how long would this take?
Weeks, couple of weeks, a week and a half.
So a week and a half would be what? It's kind of like, you're watching like some of these movies where they're like, hey, guys, everyone's, hey, oh, shit, I'm on a prime. I'm in. Okay, meet you 10 days over here. Yes, we're in. But
Too easy.
That's it.
Too easy.
Okay. So
it could be less than that. Less than that.
Especially in an occasion like this, where it's such a historic moment, people may want to do it for less money. People may want to do it more even.
I've heard pro bono. I've heard guys who would do it for free. I know guys who would do it for free. Like really
the
good
best
guys.
of the best that would
Best
be willing.
guys.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I get people that send me a Monect, and I know you're on Monect, and people can ask you any questions on Monect with your QR code is officially there. For some of you watching this right now, you got like 100 questions. Just
skip
send
this
a
part.
Monect to Nick and say, hey, how would I handle this? How would I do this? How would I do
Well. Sorry, guys. This is important.
Look at my resume. Here's what I worked. I think there's a lot of people right now that want to be involved for being able to.
I wanted to.
You wanted to?
I still would. Yeah.
So if you got the nod to want to do something, you'd participate.
100%, I would, without question. Yeah.
Sorry, end it right there. Go ahead.
Oh man, this is wild. Look at him, bro.
He left him in silence,
Best of the best, bro.
That's funny.
Best of the best.
Yeah. So this is I wanted to play this because to me it's I don't understand. I believe that Trump has not reached out to any of these guys. Okay, because think about it. By now he would have. First of all, he would have already had the team, right? By now, it would have already got out to the media. So the media would have something would have leaked out by now. And I don't understand, guys. I don't understand why Donald Trump has not done exactly this. Okay, I think when was this? Can you escape so we can see when this? I'm trying to remember. This was last week. Okay, so
August 2nd.
Okay, yeah. So it was on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So okay, hopefully they listen to this, but guys, there's no excuse because that's chump change for them. Okay, that's chump change for Don Jr. Don Jr. can fork out that cash and have this done. And again, the guy even said there's guys that'll do it pro bono.
Bro, I mean,
He'll go for free.
They just spent $75 million on a hush money.
Oh yeah.
I mean, $175 million on hush money court case.
This is not a lot of money for them, guys. This is not a lot of money. There's absolutely no excuse for Trump not actually have executed this plan, and I don't understand it because obviously it's his life. And when you have somebody with a lot of credibility telling you for this amount of cash, 100% you will be safe,
bro. And the guy's already saying, dude, I'll do it. Don't worry about my piece. I got it. You see what I'm saying? There's patriots there that are willing to do it.
Yeah, they're willing to do it for free, but I'm pretty confident that Trump, they would pay them.
Of
They're not
course
going to have
they
those
will.
guys for free.
Knowing
because
Trump
it's
would.
not a lot of money. It's chump change. It really is, guys. For your life, and again, like this guy said, 100% he will be safe.
Bulletproof.
I mean, you only need 10 snipers, bulletproof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's crazy because sometimes, guys, I go, my conspiracy theory mind goes like, I don't understand sometimes why Trump does the things he does. And when you have people coming up with these conspiracy theories that say that this was all staged and Trump did this, you know, when you see stuff like this, when you try to think, okay, why has he not done it? And if, let's just say, a week from now he still hasn't, sometimes you start wondering, like, is this a game, guys? Is this all a show?
Yeah.
Are we in a Truman Show? Because some things just don't make sense to me. He has the money. You guys heard for yourself what it would take to make this happen. And when it's your life, I don't get it because, guys, they're gonna try again.
Oh, they will. They will.
I think he even said it too, that they're definitely gonna try again.
He's confident they're gonna try again. Yeah.
So, I mean, you called it out though too on one of the episodes, is that, you know, you were like, oh well, you know, Trump could come out, win, and then completely do a whole 180, and then, you know,
I still don't rule it out, guys. I don't rule it out because there's things that he does that just don't add up to me. They just don't, and this is one of those things because it's not a lot of money. It can be done, and you have guys. I mean, I'm sure people have called and emailed them. I mean, I'm very confident you've probably had people reach out to the campaign that are within that community offering their services.
I mean, you heard this. Sorry to cut you off, but you heard this right away as soon as this happened. I mean, you heard people saying like, "Bro, I mean, we show videos here. Somebody from the black community says, you know, Trump, this is what you need to do.
The hood for Trump.
The hood for Trump. This is what you need to do. You know, bring 50 of us, right? And nobody's gonna touch you.
Yeah.
Come on now. This is coming from the hood.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that the podcast, and you know, support us, guys.
Help us out, man.
We kind of been stagnant here for a couple weeks, so we need you guys to share, like, and subscribe. You know,
help us out.
If you're on the Lexit Movement 1, don't forget to go jump on and subscribe. Guys. So we'll see what happens. Next week, we'll be back here again on Monday, right, Alfred?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday, and I'm sure there will be plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
Plenty. All right, gentlemen, take care, man. God bless. We'll see you here in the next Unrestrained podcast. Take care.